There it is. Okay, we're preparing to live stream now.
We are live.
Okay, terrific. Welcome everyone to the regular April meeting of the Danbury. Live stream now. Okay, Danbury.
We are live.
Welcome everyone to the regular April meeting of the
You should close the YouTube.
I am. I just did.
We are.
This is like Groundhog Day. This is terrible. Okay, so everyone to the regular April meeting of the okay, so everyone
Close the YouTube.
I am. I just did. This is like Groundhog Day. This is terrible.
Is somebody have it on? Just mute yourselves if you're not Andrea.
Okay, so everyone. I am. I just did.
Oh my God.
Like Groundhog Day. This is terrible.
Is somebody have it on? Just mute yourselves if you're not Andrea.
Andrea, I think it's coming from you because you're highlighted when it's talking.
Don't we all love COVID?
Okay, let's hope that's been ended. Okay, so welcome everyone to the regular April meeting of the Danbury DTC. It is Monday, April 12th, excuse me, 2021.
Don't we all love COVID?
Okay. 8 p.m. and we are conducting this meeting by Zoom. So welcome everyone to which is being live streamed to the Danbury Democrats YouTube channel. It is Monday, April 12th, excuse me, 2021.
Don't we all love COVID?
Okay, 8 p.m. and we are conducting this meeting by Zoom. So welcome everyone to which is okay. Okay, so for the conducting this meeting by Zoom, which is being live streamed to the Danbury Democrats YouTube channel. For future meetings, anyone wishing to submit questions or requests to address the Danbury Democratic Town Committee can do so by emailing DDTC, like Danbury Democratic Town Committee, questions@gmail.com. That information is also on our website. My name is Andrea Gardner. I'm the chair, calling this meeting to order at 8:10 p.m. We open with a Pledge of Allegiance. Carol Thibodeau, can I ask you to lead us in the pledge? And I'm just going to share a screen. Hold on. There we go. Carol, if you could lead us in the pledge.
I'm sorry, I forgot to unmute myself, sorry. It goes right along with how we started here. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, acceptance of the call of the meeting. Is there a motion to accept the call?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, Joe De Silva and Farley Santos. Before we get to the roll call, I do want to say that last month, our secretary, Carol Thibodeau, informed me and the other officers that because of expanding work demands, increased responsibilities at her job, and the additional time those changes bring, she is leaving her position as secretary since she cannot guarantee her full attendance at some of our meetings. Carol, I know I speak for all of our members in thanking you for taking the role as secretary for this last year since March 2020. We wish you luck with your current employer, and we are happy that you will remain as a member of the Third Ward. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Thank you for.
Thanks, Carol.
Thank you.
So tonight the roll call will be taken by His Honor Jean Iroquez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First Ward, Joan Belizna.
Jones has plumbing issues tonight, so she's excused.
I have pills for that. House. I'm sorry. Will Love,
Present.
George O'Loughlin,
Present.
George is there. Dennis Perkins,
Present.
Helena Brontes, Tanya Clark, Ken Gucker,
We also had an,
There.
excuse, Tanya.
Elvis Novus,
Present.
Third Ward, Molly Anderson Dyker,
Present.
Kate Johnson,
Present.
Frank Salvatore,
Present.
Carol Thibodeau is present.
Here.
Fourth Ward, Joe Britton,
Present.
Louisa Britton,
I'm here.
Sandra Sanchez,
Present.
Farley Santos,
Present.
Roberto Alves,
Present.
Joe Da Silva Jr.,
Hello. Present.
Gene Eriquez is here, Andrea Gardner is there, and John Goliatino,
Here.
Henry Hall,
Here.
Julie Kushner,
Here.
Sarah Purcell,
Here.
Seventh Ward, Glenda Armstrong,
Here.
Lucian Giordano,
Here.
Wilson Hernandez,
Present.
and Rich Molinaro.
Here.
And there we have one.
You have a quorum?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we have great attendance. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Okay, the first item on the agenda is the recognition of any guests and public speaking. I didn't get any requests. Don't know if there's anyone on this Zoom who,
I have not received anything to the email address either since it was shared earlier today.
okay, yeah, that was shared on Facebook and put on our website. Okay, so we'll start with the first agenda item, which is the minutes. All members received minutes prior to this meeting with a chance to review them. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the March minutes.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
Second.
Okay, who was the first on that? You're gonna have to,
Me.
okay, Will Love, and second, and I heard Joe Da Silva's voice. Okay, any discussion on the minutes? Any corrections? Okay,
Discussion be closed.
all those in favor of accepting the minutes as submitted?
Aye.
I
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. The treasurer's report was also provided to you in advance. Thank you, John Goliatino. And all members received that prior to this meeting with a chance to review them. So I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the information from John.
so
Madam Chair, I'll
moved.
make a motion. We approve the treasurer's report as read, as it was already distributed.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
And Frank with a second. Any discussion on the treasurer's report? Okay, seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I
Aye by acclamation. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. Next is my chairman's report. So, generally, I have included Black Lives Matter as an agenda item since the end of last year as part of our regular meeting. And I'm proud that we're committed as an organization to anti-racist works. And we do so not just in word, but also in deed. But many of us know that doing that kind of work is really more of a marathon and not just checking off some boxes. So in light of the ongoing trial in Minneapolis, and then over the weekend, what happened with Dante Wright, I just want to suggest that maybe we table this, we move this agenda item to the end of the meeting when we adjourn so that we can maybe, where we can create a safe space around people who want to talk about this issue. So that's what I would like someone to consider.
Make a motion, we postpone this to the foot of the agenda.
Second.
Okay, I think I heard Ken Tucker second that. Okay, any discussion? Okay, thank you, everyone. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
I
By acclamation. Thank you. Okay, a quick reminder of our fundraisers, which we have Wednesday, May 26th. This will be some sort of hybrid event, still working it out with Doug as he has other organizations that are doing fundraisers at the Amber Room, but we will have an in-person event. There's an ad book tied to it. That date is Wednesday, May 26th. So calendar that date. You will get more information coming either the end of this week or the beginning of next week. And, you know, we're ramping up our fundraising season. So everyone needs to wear that hat for the town committee. Okay, that's it on the fundraiser. Next agenda item are the mayoral candidate updates. And I see that we have two candidates with us. John Esposito, would you like to start? Because as you all know, our elections have been making headlines lately, if anyone reads the local paper. John, would you like to start, please?
Can you hear me, Madam Chair?
Yes, now we can hear you. Thank you.
Sorry, might have a connection issue. Yes, I've officially filed my paperwork and I'm ready to rock and roll.
Okay, and anything else?
Not at this time.
Okay. Okay, thanks, John. Second, we have Roberto Alves.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I'll give everybody a quick update on, the things we're doing, but, I'm just really excited to get out there. We're talking to people about the issues every day and, how we can help address them. We've knocked on a lot of doors across the city, and that's exciting. At the same time, we get to talk to people and they tell us the problems they're facing. And that helps us craft our message. It helps us work on policy, and we're taking a macro approach to this policy. And again, it's just exciting to be there talking to the folks. And one of the things we talk about is our city budget. And I hear every day how people are frustrated with the lack of funding for our schools, and the mayor's proposed budget. And this budget is just a lose-lose situation for our schools, and we can't creatively fund our way out of it. But we're out there. And what have we been doing? Those are the things that, I'm looking forward to talking about. But what have we done? Due to COVID, we had to kind of just reimagine what campaigning looks like. We had to come to the table, and I've had, a lot of great people part of the team, and we took a creative approach. We pretty much did like a virtual barnstorm. Think of your old time campaigning. And we brought that to the tech era, the COVID era. We've done over 15 virtual meet and greets. We've gotten 8 get to know you events with local organizations. I've been all over the city talking to business owners, having business visits with people all over Danbury. I continue to be active in my local clubs, our cultural clubs, talking to religious leaders. We're excited. And what has that gotten us? Well, Andrea, you alluded to, the press. And I think a lot of you either spoke to me individually or read in the paper. We had an amazing first quarter. We raised over $75,500. And we did that without a single in-person event. And on top of that, and those of us who've been around and campaigning and helping others campaign realize how much money that is and how awesome of a job that really is. But we were able to do that, and we didn't even spend $3,000 of the campaign's money to get there. It took a lot of hard work, elbow grease, and just a team approach to get us there. And our momentum, it didn't stop with fundraising. We've already been on the ground. We've already gotten to over 2,000 doors. That's incredible. It's been 10 days since we started. And the first gathering we did to get out there to these doors, we had 36 volunteers. And what I want to highlight about those 36 volunteers is, I know what it's going to take to win. I know that it's going to take a lot of us doing everything we do. But that X factor is, what can we do to energize and engage folks who haven't come out, to knock doors, to make phone calls, to be part of the political process. And out of those 36 volunteers, if we look at the pictures of that event, you'll see that a majority of those folks are friends, they're families, they're people who haven't, been part of this, that we were able to energize to come out and volunteer. And they're ready to work. They're ready to help me win. They're ready for this. And I'm just excited about that. So with all of that, the other thing that happened that I'm so thankful for is, last week we got the endorsement from our state delegation. So thank you to our state senator, Julie Kushner, our representatives, Bob Godfrey, David Arconti, Ken Gucker, Raheb Ali Brennan, everybody. Thank you so much. And I'm just so grateful for your endorsement, your show of support, your commitment to Danbury, and your recognizing where we are as a campaign and as a team, because we are all a part of this. Now, everything I've done has been, a component of the catalyst for our success. And it's only April 12th. This is exciting. I hope you guys see the excitement when we talk about it. But these are the kind of things we have to do to have a Democrat win that mayor's seat, but more importantly, to flip Danbury blue. So thank you, everybody. I'm always available for you all. Everybody has my contact information, and I look forward to leading the team and, flipping Danbury blue come November. Thank you, everybody.
Welcome. Any comments, any questions from anybody?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes, Joe, Vice Chairman.
First of all, congratulations to everybody who's running. I think that's amazing. It's certainly a sign of the times that the Democratic Party is energized. That said, I've been here for lots of elections. I've helped and volunteered for basically every mayoral election for the last 20 years and a whole bunch for Mayor Eriquez before that. I like to think that I know what it takes, and some of the ideas and some of the things you have to do as a mayoral candidate. And I am astounded by what Roberto has accomplished so far this spring. $75,500 raised without an event is astounding. It is absolutely amazing. Especially in light of the fact that, frankly, we had candidates that didn't raise that much in entire election cycles in better economies with the ability to hold fundraisers. That's not a knock on them. It is a credit to Roberto. It's a credit to what his campaign has been able to do. I was one of those 36 people 2 weeks ago, and there were very few what I'd call usual suspects there. It was all family and friends. If there were 36 people there, and to be clear, it was 36 and a half. My daughter was there. I don't think Roberto counted kids in the 36. It was really, really, really good to see a whole bunch of regular people come out, people who are not normally engaged in politics, because that's what it's going to take to win this election. It's going to take that. It's going to take 2,000 doors in April, which frankly has never been done in any campaign that I'm aware of, has hit 2,000 doors before April 15th. It's not going to be easy. This is going to be a challenging election. People have become used to voting for Republicans for mayor over the last 20 years. We have to break them of that habit. I think we have a candidate here who can do that, who brings a diverse background, a business background, a community service background, a political background, a legislative background now with the service of the council. I'm very proud to have been, and this is not a knock on any of the Democratic candidates in this campaign. I think everybody that has expressed interest in this campaign, both announced and people who were just thinking about it before, are wonderful candidates and good Democrats who would be a credit to any party. But I think right now it's abundantly clear, based on where we are, based on what's happened, that there is one campaign that is head and shoulders above the others. And I think that's Roberto's, both in terms of connecting with voters, hard work, fundraising work, and $75,500 is an amazing accomplishment. To be clear, we also should be aware of how much money that's not. That's not where it ends. That's not where it stops. He's going to need our help to get over the hump. He's going to need our help to get to where he needs to be to win this election. I was very proud to endorse Roberto a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to be very proud to support him in July. I'll be very proud to vote for him in November. I think we've gotten to the point now where it is time for this town committee to plant our flag and to stand with Roberto. And I think we should endorse him tonight. It's not binding. We don't do our nominations till July, but I do think it is time. Our state delegation with over 50 years of electoral experience spoke last week. I think that speaks volumes when people like Bob Godfrey and Julie Kushner and Ken Gucker are out there for Roberto this early. I think that speaks volumes for what he's done, what he can accomplish. I think it's time that we do an endorsement. I think that helps his campaign move forward. I think that is the logical next step. And Madam Chair, I'll make that motion right now.
Second.
Okay, well, I wanted to say there's a motion on the floor made by Vice Chair Joe De Silva, and there's
Turned on my speakers.
a lot of seconds. Through that, I heard Glenda.
I would like to formally second that motion. It's with a great amount of pride as a Danbury Democrat that I second Roberto Alves as our candidate in an informal way. I spotted him in the back of the DTC meeting month after month years ago. And after having many conversations with him, I realized that he had something special to offer us. He has proven that he is a valuable member of our community. From being a police explorer many years ago, as one of the police officers pointed out to me a couple of weeks ago, to today being a councilman. That value serves to benefit us all as the next mayor of Danbury. All Danburyans, from my 18-year-old adopted grandson that I witnessed vote for the first time last November, to my friend who I witnessed voting for more than 6 decades in Danbury. He will energize each and every one of them to become mayor of Danbury in 2021. So without hesitation, I would like to second the motion of Roberta Alves as our candidate.
Thank you, Glenda. Thank you. Also, I saw Wilson Hernandez. I'd like to call on you for a second.
I second the motion. It's time we have a mayor that does some good for the people of this city. And when I look at Roberto, I see someone who is not only passionate about serving our community, but someone who does good wherever he goes. It's so clear to everyone that Roberto's willingness to lend a hand, his ability to build bridges and bring people to the table to be part of the solution is unique and meaningful. I know he's going to support small businesses through COVID because he's talking to business owners downtown about the support they need. I know he's going to bring new businesses downtown because he's met with prospective business owners. Roberto shows up. He's a natural leader who empowers others, and he is a man of his word. There is no one who could do this job better. Madam Chair, I second the motion to endorse Roberto Alves for mayor.
Thank you, Wilson. We have a first and a second. Do we have 2 seconds? Do we have any further discussion? Correspondence Secretary Will, I ask that you look to see for anyone raising their hands.
There is no one raising their hands. There are no comments in the chat.
Okay, thank you, Will. So with no further discussion and by a show of acclamation, who supports the early endorsement of Roberto Alves as our candidate for mayor? Signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, well, that's pretty resounding. So Roberto Alves, congratulations. By acclamation, you are the endorsed candidate for mayor for our municipal election.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. That just means so much to me. I wish we can all just start making phone calls right now and start knocking on doors. That's all I'm thinking about. Now we can get everybody working here while we're out every weekend. But this is just a happy moment. I remember volunteering before I became a U.S. citizen. I remember Glenda coming up to me in the back of the room when I was just going to meetings, going to city council meetings, going to DTC meetings and saying, you're going to run for office. You need you to run. She was the first person who ever asked me to run for office. I was like, I'm not a citizen yet. And when I started the process and I told her I was a citizen, she was one of the first people I told that to. And I said I was ready. I hope I showed, my hard work and dedication to everybody on this board and this committee. I haven't stopped since. And I'm not going to stop. I'm going to make our party proud. We are going to flip Danbury blue, but I can't do it without everybody. Your support means so much, but let's go. Let's go fight and win. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Roberto. Thank you. I had the good fortune of being with you just, I think, days after you became a U.S. citizen, and we were at the state conventions, and you got to introduce one of the candidates, and that was really amazing to see.
With 20 minutes notice.
And a borrowed tie.
Yeah,
Yes.
borrow tie. Because Joe said, "Why are you guys wearing ties?" So the next day I didn't wear a tie, and I broke my own rule.
Now you know. Okay. Okay. So we are now on agenda item, still under Chairman's report. One last item. We generally have an update on the Campaign Victory Task Force from Frank Salvador, but there was no meeting. And he's just reported out to everyone that the next meeting will be on April 29th. Next following is our state and local official reports, and we will start with State Central. Jean Eriquez.
Madam Chair, I think Frank wants to say something.
Yeah,
Oh.
I know I didn't need to give a report, but I need to remind everybody, please start sharing the website with anybody who you think would make good candidates. We need people to start filling out the questionnaire so we can start putting together the interview list, and the wards should start seeking their candidates now as well, so that we could have all this together hopefully by the end of May. That's all I want to say. Thank you. Thank you, Will, for catching my floundering.
No problem. I try to keep as many faces at a time so I don't miss anybody.
Okay, so Jean Eriquez for State Central, Your Honor.
You're muted, Gene.
Yeah, thank you. Just want to let my fellow Democrats know that we lost two great Democrats last month in the state of Connecticut. Former Majority Leader and Representative David Pudlin from New Britain and State Senator Billy Seattle from Meriden. I mean, these were people who were great help to me when I was in office, to the city of Danbury, to cities in general, and were great elected officials in the General Assembly during their tenure, both of them, in Dave Pudlin's case, a little bit prematurely, and in Billy Seattle's case, still premature. My mother's 99, going to be 100 in a month. So anyone who is lasts that long, God bless, and anyone who goes before, to me, is premature. So, I just wanted to recognize those two individuals, as State Central did at our last meeting on March 23rd. I also want to let people know that I will be providing with Deb Guglieltino an email to everyone, which will have a link to a video that Dave Kostek from the State Central Committee staff provided regarding the American Rescue Plan. It's informative and helpful if anyone needs to garner any information that would be helpful in passing along to their family, friends, neighbors, co-workers regarding the American Rescue Plan. We'll be sending it along to you. Also, tomorrow there's a special election for a state representative, which represents, in particular, Newtown, a part of Newtown and Monroe, in Nick Kapoor. Nick is an LGBTQ candidate, proudly, and we hope he can prevail in terms of taking that seat and wresting it from Republican hold, which it's had for too many years. And Nick is a wonderful guy and a great candidate, and he's been working extremely hard. And I know State Central is, in particular, focused on his race, as well as the race to replace state representative in the city of Stamford, which will be forthcoming as well. Want to let you know about a couple of events. May 4th, there will be a virtual event with Congressman Jamie Raskin, the congressman from Maryland. You may remember he was one of the prosecutors during the Trump impeachment trial, the lead prosecutor, in fact. Very significant and interesting event, a virtual event. We'll pass that information along to you in the email as well. And just to let you know that the State Democratic Party headquarters, which had been located on Arbor Street in the city of Hartford, is moving to a new location in the Stark building, which is across from the old State House. It's providing us a significant operational savings per month, and to be honest with you, better facilities for our staff and all of the functions that State Central engages. And the second to last item I wanted to mention was, obviously, Connecticut received a lot of attention from a visit by Vice President Harris with Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro from the 3rd Congressional District, and our own Johanna Hayes from the 5th Congressional District, among others in New Haven, regarding the rescue plan and certainly its key components, in particular in providing support for children. And certainly First Lady Jill Biden was here, joined by a friend of mine, Miguel Cardoza, who's the Secretary of Education and was a former student of my brother-in-law's years ago. A good man from the city of Meriden, who has a wonderful educational record, is extremely well liked in the state of Connecticut, and I know will do a great job as the Secretary of Education at the national level. And lastly, I just wanted to say that Deb Galeotino and I are, as two members of State Central and co-chairs of the 24th State Senatorial District, are asking for Super Dems participation. The State Central Committee has developed a Super Dems sustainable program, which is in essence looking to achieve at least 10 donors from each state Central Committee members within their respective districts to participate at either a $5 or $10 level per month. And there's several benefits that come with that. That will also be included in the email that will be forthcoming to you within the week with the other information that I aforementioned. So thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to make a report. And if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Any questions for State Central Representative Jean Iroquois? I just want to add something on to what you said, Jean, in regard to their moving to new office spaces, the Stark building. They made mention that there's other Stark offices throughout the state. And in fact, we have some Stark offices here in Danbury. So we might be able to, bring in some state party people.
In fact, Madam Chair, we will likely have an opportunity to host a State Central Committee meeting here in Danbury in a Stark building, as you aptly said. And as we will be continuing to do Zoom meetings, even post-pandemic, but periodically moving our meetings around the state to be able to, highlight and focus on different communities within our state, what they're doing, and give them an opportunity to host State Central and provide some visibility for those municipalities. And Danbury is on the slate to be one.
Thanks, Jean. Next up is our Hartford.
Molly has her hand up.
Oh, yes. Hi, Molly. Go ahead.
Hello. Can you just repeat the name of the candidate from Newtown Monroe area? Because I want to make sure I have it right.
Certainly. It's Nick. Last name is K-A-P as in Peter, U-R. Nick Kapoor.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mike.
So on to the Hartford delegation. I know we have Representative Godfrey's here. Bob, do you want to start?
Thank you. How are you all? Congratulations, Roberto. It's the end of the beginning of the legislature is kind of happening. As you know, I'm on the Judiciary Committee, the longest continuously serving member of that. Oh, excuse me. And our deadline for action this year was last Friday, so it was kind of hell week last week, pouring through hundreds of proposals and bills. Some of the more significant issues that we took up dealt with a lot of the way the law treats women, the law treats people in difficult spousal situations. It deals with domestic violence. It dealt with coercive control within a relationship. It's moving forward and building on the foundation on a lot of these issues that we've created over the last few years. But probably more than any other single issue, people have mostly been talking about the legalization of recreational marijuana, which did come out of committee using the governor's bill as a vehicle. The issue with this continues to be not the mere legalization, but what we're going to do with all the people who over the last 40 or 50 years were convicted of drug possession and thrown into jail. What are we going to do for that? What are we going to do? I think I've said this before. We've been throwing mostly Black kids in jail for a very long time. And by legalizing it, I don't want to make Connecticut safe for big corporations to come in and take over the marijuana business. So that's all part of it. We're trying to direct any of the money that comes in from the sale to the urban centers that have been most negatively impacted by the ban over all of these years. And a lot of the details are yet to be worked out and negotiated with the governor. So those are kind of the big issues I just wanted to touch upon. This is kind of the eye of the storm week. All of the committees have now reported out and have met their deadlines for the year, except for finance and for appropriations. I think Julie's the only one who's still got a lot of work, committee work to do this session. So I'm catching up on correspondence, a little bit of sleep, and preparing because the House is going to go into session the week next week, the 19th. And we're looking at the really big bills dealing with all of the changes to the election laws that we're looking at and that our Secretary of the State, Denise Mayoral, is looking at, dealing with no excuse absentee ballots, ballot access, early voting, all of those things that as our party has embraced for a very long time and which we need to bring to Connecticut. We're also going to be wrestling with some of the sports gaming issues, and we anticipate taking up the bill dealing with ending the religious exemption for vaccinations to attend public schools. All really big, really important, and really controversial to a degree. Issues that I'm happy that we're going to start taking up some of these now rather than jam them all into the end of May. You know, we have a small budget problem in the sense that usually we get the real figures from the revenue side of our tax collection about April 20th, you know, a few days after the April 15th deadline. Well, the deadline's been moved to May 17th. That's going to make our job a little harder, and which means we'll have less time to kind of do analysis of the whole situation. And we had to take up the extremely important issue of should the pizza be the state food. You know, we just have a very eclectic amount of work to be done. I want to join Jean in mourning not only Billy Ciotto, but my old friend Dave Pudlin. Dave Pudlin was a majority leader. He was a member of my class. We were both elected in 1988. He's the only person I know who was a socialist, but kept the stock market ticker on his television going 24/7. It was quite an interesting, complex horns of the dilemma kind of situation. He a big believer in joking and smiling and laughing. He was an incredible leader. He knew because of his background as a labor leader, how to do negotiations, how to pull together consensus among the House Democrats. Remember, we're not members of any organized political party. We're Democrats. So I miss him terribly. He was a real, I was his deputy for his 4 years as majority leader. Worked very closely with him, and like many people, mourn his passing. And if I could just add one more eulogy. We all joined together to celebrate the life of Tim Winkler. A lot of us have known him for years and years and worked with him both through his service in the Army and most certainly in his advocacy for veterans of all stripes across Danbury. He died recently. His funeral was a Saturday, and there was a very moving remembrance at the 411th headquarters that was emceed by our own Commissioner Tom Sadi. It was a passing of an era. That kind of advocacy, that kind of passion is relatively rare. And we too will miss Tim Winkler. Lastly, a commercial. I'm doing daily e-blasts, and I know a number of you do get them. So anybody else who's interested in getting this information, just go to my website, just Google me, and sign up. There's a hyperlink there to sign up for it. I'm certainly doing a lot of information shedding on the COVID-19 approaches and fight that we've got here in Connecticut, and lots and lots and lots of other issues. So that's pretty much my report. Thank you, and go fight win.
Thank you. Thank you, Bob. Representative Gucker, anything to add to Representative Godfrey's report?
I'm actually doing state work while I'm doing this as well, because it just seems never to end. So what I was going to say, with now all of my committees are done, except we get called in from time to time for bills that are referred from other committees. So we just dealt with one in planning. Yes, tomorrow we'll be going in. I'm sorry. We'll be going into environment to be able to deal with hemp, which has to do also with the recent change of the marijuana laws, how that is dealt with here in Connecticut. It's kind of funny, in one of the public hearings, the way hemp farmers, if the THC level is too high in their hemp product, they have to destroy it. And they were burning it, which I found kind of funny or amusing, that they were going to burn their hemp. To where now they're looking to turn it more into reusable material. Other than that, like Bob said, starting next week, we'll be going into session. The sessions will be long, they will be arduous. We're not exactly sure which ones we'll be taking up. There are a lot of issues on the table that Bob has already spoken of. And lastly, on a local issue, we're here if anybody needs assistance or help. We find ourselves spending a lot of time helping constituents through this COVID environment, dealing with issues like, starting next month, believe it or not, if you haven't been paying your electric bill, they can start disconnecting your electric. So make sure people reach out to Eversource if they need to get caught up, get some payment arrangements done, or look for some other assistance. But the starting in May, they can start disconnects. So those that are in trouble really should be aware of that. And lastly, in a local area, as you all know, we were dealing with some local issues in the first ward. Luckily, the citizens prevailed. And as always, if anybody ever hears of issues that are going in their communities, which I hear of a lot of them lately, please reach out to all of us and let's see if we can get some good stuff happening. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ken. I saw Dave Arcatian earlier, but I don't know if he's still with us. And if not, well, I know the senator's with us. Is Dave still in the room? No. Okay, go ahead, Julie.
Hi. Well, just, as was mentioned, we are working now on the budget, and I serve on appropriations. So there's a lot of work that goes on to put together a budget. And it's been really fascinating this year. I was the co-chair of the Human Services Subcommittee. I served on 2 other subcommittees, and it really gives you a real understanding of how the budget comes together. I found it to be a fascinating process, and I really learned a lot in being on these 3 committees, and particularly around human services. needless to say, appropriations is difficult because honestly, I don't see any areas of waste. I see only areas of need. And it's pretty intense because particularly now with having experienced COVID, some of the problems that we always had are in stark relief. We see so many people in need of investment in social services and in healthcare and in our schools. And so there is so much that we need to do as a state. And I'm happy that my colleagues here, several of them have joined in championing bills that would raise revenue in our state so that we would have more money to appropriate in the necessary ways. That those bills didn't make it out of the Finance Committee, but I think they continue to have life because there are some very interesting proposals that would help raise taxes on wealth, on extreme wealth in our state. And we know that the billionaires in our state got richer during COVID than any other time. And so clearly there needs to be something that we do that will actually begin to deal with some of the equity issues we have in our state. Toward that end, there was a rally last week or the week before out in front of Rogers Park Middle School. A number of us attended, and I think everybody who was there would agree that it was incredibly moving. We heard from parents and students and teachers, and we have an amazing public school system here, but it's really in need of an infusion of cash, really to serve the needs of all of our children and to make us the kind of city we want to be. And I think part of that has got to come from the state, and we've worked hard on it. We're very happy to have voted for the pilot formula change that will bring another $2.5 million to Danbury when it's funded and through this budget. Part of that funding, about 1.1 million of that funding, was as a result of the need we have to improve our schools. So I really hope that when that comes through, it will be an add-on to what we normally will do with our school budget. And I think that's very positive for Danbury. And I know, all the representatives applauded that as much as I did. We really see that as a positive development in this year's budget. So I know we're all fighting for more ECS funding for the schools as well. That is, unfortunately, our governor thought we could put a freeze on funding for the ECS formula this year and use COVID funds to make up the difference. I think that it's pretty universally disagreed with the legislature. Everyone I speak to thinks that this is not a good solution, that the COVID monies really need to be spent to bring us back to where we need to be because of COVID, not to take away from the money that we would normally budget. If anything, we need more money for the ECS formula and would like to see it accelerated. So those are the kinds of issues that we're dealing with right now. I feel like we are on the road to having a budget pulled together. I look forward to continue working on that. As you heard, we have committees that are now meeting again. But for the most part, it's all about the budget. And then we'll be going into session this week. The Senate is in session on Wednesday. We'll be voting on some bills as early as Wednesday. And I know it's different because we're not there all together. I'm really sorry that the House and the Senate aren't meeting together. It's a great opportunity to see people, but they determined it was too many people for the building. And so because of COVID, we are meeting on separate days. And that means that it's safer, but we don't get to see people as much. But it's very, it is an exciting time in the legislature where we begin to really move bills through the process and make laws from the things that are our dreams and our aspirations. And so I'm very happy to be there and happy to answer any questions people have at any time. Thank you.
Hey, Julie, just a silly question. How do they expect to get through the last couple of days of session if they're not letting both chambers meet at the same time? That occurred to anybody that's not possible?
It will be interesting. We'll see what happens. I mean, one of the things that was changed is that we actually do have provisions now for, the House has had them for some time. Bob probably knows when it was put in, but you have the boards for the remote voting.
Mhm.
We actually have remote voting now in the Senate that just is going into place for the first time this week. And what that means is we don't all have to be in the Capitol,
Be in the LOB.
in our LOB offices. And
Right.
so maybe that's one of the ways in which we'll be able to function at the end.
Just curious. Thanks.
I have one question. I have a question.
Yes, Glenda, go ahead.
Really quick. I'm glad you addressed the ECS, Julie. I really was. That was one of my questions. My second question is, there's a bill on gerrymandering as it relates to prisons and communities. And I don't know if it came out of committee, but I think it did. I want to know if you could, I know it's pretty controversial, but I know there's a group of us across the state are supporting that bill.
Yeah, I am supporting that bill as well. The issue is whether or not when people are counted for voting, whether they get counted in the city they live in or if they're incarcerated in the prison. And that's just, it doesn't make any sense at all. We need to support counting people in the cities where they live. And I am supporting that. I do believe it made it out of committee, and Bob can probably address that. But that bill, I think there is a press conference coming up on that I agreed to participate in. And the other thing, Glenda, that you remind me by asking questions is you also were part of a group of 3 people from Danbury. You supported a bill that would ban using Indigenous people as mascots for our schools. And I co-sponsored that bill with Senator Austin, and that bill did not make it out of committee. However, I have spoken to the governor's office recently, and we are still interested in looking at that bill and seeing what we can do, because I think there's strong support for that as well, Glenda. So I appreciate you putting that forward. And it is another issue that I think we need to seriously address in our state.
Good. I know it didn't come out of committee. Thank you. That's why I didn't ask the question. But thank you very much for following up.
We're not giving up on it, though.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, Julie. Next, local official reports. I can start with zoning. Ted Haddad, you're here. I don't know if there's any updates from last month.
No, hi, everyone. Congratulations, Roberto. No, just a couple. I'll do the small stuff first. As you know, we meet on the 2nd and 4th Tuesdays of the month. Tomorrow we have a meeting. It's very light. It looks like we're going to be light for the next 2 meetings. The big issue of the BRT Sconset, and when I say big, I'm not saying big in any particular way, in favor or opposed. I'm saying big. It was a large turnout, and it was lengthy, and it was detailed. They withdrew the petition. I'm sure they'll be back. What else? We're still under the governor's executive order 7I. And we were, I want to thank John Gogliatino. I was on the TV show. That'll be this Thursday. And I was able to see Sydney and Ryan on your last show, and they did a very good job. I'm proud of my guys, my zoning people. So that's all I have for tonight. If there's any questions.
Thank you, Ted.
Thank you.
Board of Ed, I think we have the Vice Chair, Joe DeSilva, and Joe Britton as members.
I could just talk quickly. We did have a sites and facilities meeting last week, and we just went over. We were presented the first draft of the ed specs for the Career Academy, which was really cool. Sal's team did a great job on that, and we didn't pass them. We just passed for the administration a motion to just continue this direction of the ed specs, because they're still very rough, still in very broad strokes form. But just I'm sure they spoke about it tonight. I tuned in and out of the bond workshop tonight. But just to example of some of the academies that are going to be there are the Academy of Scientific Innovation and Medicine, the Academy of Global Enterprise and Economics, Academy of Art, Engineering and Design, the Academy of Communications and Design, the Academy of Professional and Public Service, and the Academy of Information Technology and Cybersecurity. So it's a great project. It's going to free up, or it's going to take in 1,000 high schoolers, 300-ish, I think it's like 300 and change middle schoolers. And Joe, I'll hand it off to you if you want to talk about kind of the issues with the middle school, because I know.
Joe covered it. That's what's going on with the Career Academy, and the other salient issues are, all of the reopening issues with COVID. The plan is to be open full-time in the fall for all students. At least that's the plan as of right now. The other thing, obviously, is the other overriding issues, the budget. The proposed city budget of 1.25 million increase is just simply not enough. Obviously, I'm a homeowner. Most of us on this call are homeowners. None of us want taxes to go up, and I'm certainly not asking for them to go up, certainly not right now. But it is a matter of priority. It is a matter of commitment to education. It is a matter of recognizing what everybody else has recognized, that there are challenges students face, that especially in light of COVID, especially in light of the educational experience for the last 12 months, continuing through the end of the school year. We need the funding. I implore the council members that are here. This budget is not sufficient. It does not even cover contractual increases. So technically, without additional funding, the board might have to cut. And this is obviously not the time to do that. The mayor says we're not kicking the can down the road. Whenever you say, when people say we're not kicking the can down the road, they're kicking the can down the road. That's the reason why they talk about it. And I understand this might not be the year, but last year wasn't the year, and the year before wasn't the year, and the decade before that wasn't the year. Sooner or later, it needs to become the year, because we are at risk of letting our kids down. So I mean, that's really the salient issue, what's going on with the budget and everything else. I'll ask our state House members, our state senator, our city councilman, please. We need the funding. We need your support. Happy to take it wherever we can get it. So if you guys could shake out a couple extra shekels, we'd appreciate it. City of Danbury council members, shake out a couple more bucks. We could appreciate it from you guys too. That's my spiel. I got nothing else for tonight. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. City Council, we have some membership here. We have Farley and Frank, Roberto, and Rich Molinaro.
Looks like Rich has his hand up.
Okay,
I'll go.
Thank you, Rich. You
Following in line with Joe, first of all, before I get any farther, congratulations, Roberto. We're joined at the hip. Farley and Roberto and Frank and I were the ones who flipped the council. 10 brought us up to 10 votes, and which is nice. And I congratulate Roberto. I also want to thank Kenny Gucker for his support. I was contacted by a group of people in the first ward. I'm in the 7th, and had a problem up in Clapboard Ridge. And I just wanted to thank Kenny for his support with that. I know the people that I spoke to were very happy with his help. Career Academy, that was one of our discussions. If those of you who had an opportunity to go on to the meeting, the bond meeting, I believe, and from what I'm gathering, is we're crossing over as a bipartisan support for this Career Academy, which I hope will continue. It seems like a great opportunity for the city of Danbury. I'm looking forward to future meetings with that. In light of what this time of year is, this is budget time. The last budget I worked on was 45 years ago when I was on the council originally. So remembering what that was like, thank God I don't remember, because I know that it's a lot of work. I'm lucky or not so lucky to be put on the education budget committee. Unfortunately, the Democrats are a minority on that, like we are on all budget committees. I'm there with Warren Levy and Irving Fox, and Stanley. I don't envision any increases coming from that committee. I know that I'll work really hard to get those things done, but Joe, Joe's and Joe,
We get it.
God bless you.
We get it.
I will do everything I can do. Being a former educator, my heart is there. And
You might want to point out to Councilman Fox that he consistently supported the education budget while a member of the Board of Education. It would be nice to see if he'd show some consistency today.
well, if consistency is an issue, forget it. He is the first ward. He is the first ward representative on the council. And ironically, the people in the first ward came to me to help them with a problem, a zoning problem. So if that's any indication, he's probably dead from the neck up. And Warren, former Democrat, is no help whatsoever. So I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll fight it out, and hopefully we'll get somewhere. Who knows?
So let me take off from where Rich left off. I put in the chat a picture of the schedule, but you know, the iPhone takes this new version of pictures, so not everybody's going to be able to open it up. So I'm going to go quickly down the list, Madam Chairman, if you're okay.
Yes,
City
please.
Council wise, believe it or not, we had 17 agenda items. That was the record breaker for those of us that have been on only for a year and 3 months.
Yeah.
So we really had to work last month with the agenda items. But speaking of working, here's the budgets. Tomorrow, the city budget workshop, that's where the mayor goes over the budget with us. It's at 6 o'clock tomorrow night. All of these are available on YouTube, and you can check any one of our Facebook sites. We will put the YouTube address up on our councilman pages to make sure that you have access to them. Following that meeting at 7 p.m., as Rich just said, the ad hoc for the Education Committee, Levy's the chair, Fox, Stanley, Molinaro, Visconti. Sorry, guys, $8 million difference between what you submitted and what Joe Cavo submitted to us. I checked my back pockets. I don't even have a penny. It's going to be really interesting to see what we can do. I can't wait till see if we're going to be tutelaged on budget process by our leadership, because they all want to work together, but I've yet to hear anybody's suggestions. We then jump to this Thursday. That is the big public input sessions on the budget. That's where the $3 million bond, which we do every year, the senior tax freeze, the neighborhood assistance, and the government entities report from the last meeting goes to public hearing. And then next Monday, the 19th, is the public input on the school bond. That's the Danbury Career Academy. And then we have 2-a-days on the 21st and 22nd. The 21st at 6 p.m., General Government 1, that's Knapp, Camisa, Bezade, Perkins, and Esposito. At 7:30, it's General Government 2. That's Fox as the chair, Knapp, Palma, Salvatore, and Alves. Come to find out, Government 2, you would think would be, they put the little, the new kids at the little kids table. There's more appropriations in General Government 2 than there is Government 1. So that's going to be interesting. The next day, 6 o'clock again, Health, Public Safety, Priola, DiGilio, Mike Esposito, Santos, and Rotello. And then at 7:30 p.m., Public Works is Stanley, Henry, DiGilio, Tabersac, and Chianese. So that's the next 2 weeks of budget committees, ad hocs. And like I said, just follow our Facebook pages. We'll get you guys the information to be able to watch. That's it, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Salvatore. Councilman Santos or Alves, anything to add?
No, they wanted me to put you to sleep.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, so our next regular meeting is Monday, May 10th. We'll be going back to 7:30. And other important dates, there is the dates that Frank mentioned, including this Thursday, the Danbury City Budget Public Hearing. Zoning Commission, I have here April 21st, Ted. Are you saying tomorrow there's a meeting?
Yes, we have a meeting tomorrow. It's just, we're only accepting 2 petitions for reference only, so it'll be about a 10-minute meeting.
Oh, okay, so that's wrong on my thing here. And then Wednesday, there's a live stream Board of Ed meeting, Wednesday, April 28th. The next city council meeting is May 3rd. Also, remember to save the date, May 26th, Wednesday, May 26th for our fundraiser. There's no further business before our members unless.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Will?
I have a couple of notable things, notable events. Apex Community Care. They have a new facility on Hospital Avenue. They're doing collection days for any clothing, shoes, or household items that people are looking to get rid of. Every Wednesday and Thursday through May the 20th. From 9 to 4 and Saturdays from 12 to 2. They are on Hospital Avenue. And they're also having an event this Friday, which is this Friday, the 16th, from 12 to 4 for National Transgender HIV Testing Day. They're going to have a couple of different organizations there. They have a new pop-in center that they are trying to develop once COVID is, not as bad as it is, but they are trying to make more of like an LGBTQ kind of hub at their new facility. I've been attending their transgender support group meetings each month, so they're doing a lot of good work, and they should have our support. So if you have anything that you are getting rid of in terms of spring cleaning, clothes-wise, or any of that, they would be happy to take the donations.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Will.
Madam Chair, one last thing.
Yes.
I started my re-election campaign, so I'm going to rerun for City Council at large. I have put in the chat box my donation site. I'm going to try to get as much of my donations as soon as I can so I can get out of Roberto's way, especially after I just turned in the 127-page report for his first quarter filing. I can only imagine what they're going to be down the road here. So anybody want to support me, by all means, let's do it. Go
We all want to support you, Frank. Thank you. Thanks for providing that link. And you've been posting and sending out emails too, so we'll get you there. Any other further business to present to any of the members of the town committee?
Real quick, Madam Chair. Will, great job organizing the trivia night. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Good job. It was a blast.
Andrea, if you don't mind, I'll be very, very brief.
Absolutely.
So I just want to thank everyone here for their support for mine and Joe Britton's campaign. We really, we were overwhelmed by the level of support. We worked hard, but within 30 days, Joe, I think we raised, it was 30 days. We raised over $8,000 for our campaign here in the 4th Ward. And I'm so thankful to everyone here. That money is going to go to help every single Democrat, beginning with Roberto at the top, to ensure that he is elected mayor, and every single Democrat that we have on our slate to be elected as well. So thank you to all of you. Joe and I are ready to rock and roll here in the 4th for the whole team.
Terrific. Okay, anyone else? So
And don't send money our way. Give it to Frank, give it to Roberto.
if there's no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn with a reminder that anyone who wants to stay on will get off the live stream and we'll talk about the agenda item Black Lives Matter.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Okay, is there
Seconds.
Will Love seconds? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
The meeting is officially adjourned at 9:00.